Okay, hi everyone. So today we're working again, reviewing on factoring and then solving. So we're looking at what we call quadratics. Now again, what is a quadratic equation? And that's a fancy way for us to say an x squared equation. We used to call an x equation, this is what we call linear. So if you see something like y is equal to 3x plus 2, we call this linear because this formed a line. 1, 2, and the slope was 1, 2, 3 over 1. That was a line graph. Okay, and we'll talk about more about graphing in our next class. But today, we're going to go back and work on just the algebra equation side of things, okay? And we were asked to solve quadratic equations. We are supposed to solve these x squared problems. And we said, if I give you x squared plus 7x plus 10, and I asked you guys to make this equal to 0, x squared plus 7x plus 10, can you guess a number? Is it possible for you to guess an x value that would make this go to 0? If I plug it in, it's going to make everyone feel sad and no one's going to start talking and just kill the mood. Can you think of a topic in your family that you could do that? If you just bring up this topic, everyone's going to be sad, no one's going to talk, and they just kind of kill the conversation. Well, if you know your numbers, if you know your family members well, you know what that topic is. Same thing for math. If you know your math problem well enough, for this problem here, you can probably figure it out very quickly. But if you don't, we have a special method here. We said we're going to start to factor. We're going to factor to solve. So what numbers make up 10? And I always work on this last number since it's a level 1. 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. These numbers multiplied become 10. But which of these combinations add up to become 7? And this is why on the test I asked you guys to write it out. And many of you guys did and many of you guys didn't. I wanted to see what was going on in your brain. And some of you guys can see automatically this is 2 and 5. 2 plus 5 is 7, and 2 times 5 is 10. So x, 2 and 5. And in this case, it was plus plus. Now, we've taken x squared and we just wrote it as a factor problem. It still means the same thing. If you go back and think of it, is 10 the same as 2 times 5? Yeah, they're the same thing. I just broke it apart. I undid the operation of multiplying. So that's what factoring does. It undoes the operation of multiplying, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same meaning. But it's going to be so much easier to solve here. And our steps were if I separate this and I separate this on the right, well, if I minus 2, minus 2, minus 5, minus 5, we end up with x equals to negative 2 and x equals to negative 5. Now, what we did here is we first factored. Now then we did this is what we call our product zero product property. Zero product property. Right? We made them both equal to 0 because we said if you're 0 or you're 0, we're winner winner, chicken dinner. And the last part, this last step here was we did the inverse operations. Inverse operations. We undid the plus 2 to get a minus 2 so we can solve for x. Now, does this really work? Would negative 2 be an answer? Well, if I plugged in negative 2 here, let's go ahead and rewrite it on the side. If I say negative 2 plus 2 times negative 2 plus 5, would that equal to 0? And the zero product property says, well, if negative 2 plus 2 is 0, what's 0 times any number? I don't even have to do the work. I mean, even if I did the work, that would be 3, right? Is 0 times 3 0? Yeah. No matter what number we've gotten, we're done. 0 times anything is 0. So we can save time here. So if I say the left side is negative 2, we're winners. And if the right side is negative 5, we also have a 0 there. And just to prove this to you in a different way, if I plug it in negative 2 squared minus 7 times negative 2 plus 10, will this equal to 0? That doesn't look like it's 0. It's more like a dream. So plus, oops, this is a plus sign, I'm sorry. Copied it wrong. Copy, this was a plus, I'm sorry. And this is a minus 14 plus 10. Does that equal to 0? Negative 10 plus 10, right? Negative 4, no, 4 minus 14 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So I would never have guessed that negative 2 would have been an answer. Now factoring, I'm going to tell you this. Factoring is our easiest Okay, easiest. I can't even spell easiest. Easiest. Okay, easiest way of solving it. Okay, factoring is our number one way. If we cannot factor, we will have new tools that we're going to develop to solve it. But right now, if you can factor it, bam, easy problem, fastest problem in the world. Now let's try another problem. Let's go ahead and have you guys try these two problems. X squared minus 3x, we'll say minus 10. And our next problem is x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay. Can you think of two numbers that multiply to become 10? Can you think of two numbers that multiply to become 12? That would give us our respective 3 and 4. I want you guys to right now go ahead and plug this in. Try factoring it yourself. What are two numbers? And if you're not sure how to do this, what numbers to use, just write out all the possibilities. 1 and 10, 2 and 5. And since we're subtracting, hopefully you notice that we are subtracting because that means the signs are not the same. One's positive, one's minus. On the right, what numbers multiply to become 12? I want you guys to think about that. What numbers multiply to become 12? That's subtract that to become 4. And if you're not sure, just go through your multiplication tables. 1 times what? 2 times what? 3 times what? And hopefully you guys can come up with this puzzle. What number subtracts out to become 4? Now this is not a real big high school skill. This is like an elementary skill. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Now any of those subtract out to become 4. And hopefully you guys are spotting this pattern. This pattern is not hard. If you guys spend some time trying, it is not hard to come up with a factoring pattern. And once you're really good at this, you don't have to write these possibilities. You don't have to write these possibilities. You can see that 6 times 2 is 12. You can see that 2 times 5 is 10. Right, I'm trying to build this capacity in you. Okay, so we see x and x, because x times x is x squared. Right, that's x squared here. And then we said 2 and 5. And in this case, 2 and 6. Now the hard part is to make sure we have the right sign. And details matter. So let's see, who wins here? We need more negatives to win. So is it going to be 5 positive or 5 negative? Well, I need a negative 5 and a positive 2. Here, I need more negatives. 6 and 2 become 4. So I need more negatives than positives. So I need a negative 5, positive 2, and negative 6 and positive 2. Okay, so hopefully you can see the pattern for these problems. Let's go and finish mine. We can write these separate. X equals, you could, from here, mental math now, what number would cancel out a plus 2? What number would cancel out a plus, or a minus 5? So from here, you can say, hey, it's just negative 2 and 5. If you need to show the work because you're not sure, our opposite operation, x is equal to negative 2, x equals to 5. Hey, and that's a bet that these numbers will work. If I plugged in negative 2, wouldn't that give me a 0? 0 times anything is 0. We got it. If I plugged in 5, 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 times anything is still 0. So we have two options there. You can go right, you can go left, but we're still going to get to the same place in the end. It's like directions. Getting back home, you could go right, you can go left. One way might be harder, one way might be longer, but they still both get you to the same place in the end. But you still have more than one option. Unless if you live in one of those one-way streets, right? Or those cul-de-sacs, there's only one way in, one way out. Then sure, then you only have one option. On the right, let's see if you guys can come up with the answer without actually doing any work here. X plus 2, what's the opposite of plus 2? Negative 2. What's the opposite of minus 6? Plus 6. And I'm just going to check this for you. 6 squared minus 4 times 6 minus 12. Will this equal to 0? That doesn't look like 0 to me. It looks like I lost my rockers. 6 times 6 is 36. 4 times 6 is negative 24 minus 12. 36 minus 24 is 12. 12 minus 12. Oh my goodness, we found what 0 is. Okay, so on today's homework, you're going to mix around the orders. I'm going to write down all the steps for you. You're going to mix them in order to mimic what I just did here. Right? It's going to literally mimic what I did here. So today's homework is a little different than a typical IXL problem. I'm going to ask you guys some bigger ideas, and at the end is when you're going to practice it. Okay, let's do a harder problem real quick before I let you guys work on this individually. I'm gonna have a breakout group today. I'm gonna have a couple of you guys stay behind. I need you guys to do some extra work for me to help you guys out. But here we go. Let's do another problem. 3x squared minus 10 in the back, and we're gonna say is plus 13x equals to 0. Now this is a level 2 problem. Level 2 problems are harder because the number in front is not simply x squared now. It's been bumped up and it's a 3. And it could be any number in the front. The idea is that there's more possibilities. Example, if you remember if you're when you were the only child in your family, they just had to worry about you. But then once I brought in another child, now you have to worry about more stuff. And what if you have 3 kids? Oh my goodness. Anyone here from a family of 4 kids? Almost like a circus in your house, I bet. That's like 6 people. Dang, like a circus. Anyone here with a family of 4? 4 kids? Okay, so the way I do this, I break this up in my brain to 3 and 1, 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. And what we're doing now is we're trying to date of one number in the front and one number in the back, and we're going to subtract that to become 13. So we can try it. I'm going to actually spend my time now to show you guys. I'm going to write down all the steps. Let's see if I'm totally clueless. I have no clue what the pattern is. I'm just going to multiply everyone and take a turn. Oh, wow. That's cool. The homework is not timed. 4 kids. Oh, yeah. I know your sister. I might have. I had your sis. I had one of your sisters before, and then I have a sister now, right? And then now I have you, right? I had Carla way back. Wow, I had like the whole family. I'm just missing one more child. Okay. Here we go. So 3 times, if I go 3 times 1 first is 3, and 1 times 10 is 10. Oh my gosh, 3 and 10 make 13, right? Oh my goodness. I would be right, except it's a minus sign, and that was a trick question. Ah, so close. It looks so right. 3 and 10 make 13, right? But we have to subtract for this one. We have to subtract for this one. So this was a false positive, just like my COVID test. I'm just kidding. I never got positive. 3 times 10 is 30. And then 1 times the other guy, 1. That's 31. 30 minus 1 is 29. I'm sorry, 29. That doesn't work. Oh, gosh. So we know this one is not going to work for us. Let's go ahead and try the next set. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. Nope, that's a whole different problem. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 2 is 2, right? 3 times 5 and then 1 times 2. Hey, 15 and 2, that works. Now, the problem is making sure we put everything in the right spot. It's like when you guys have big family dinners, can you just sit anyone anywhere? If you have a nice family, you can. But if you have some rivalries, you got to sit your uncle and your aunt in different places, right? Or the 2 brothers don't get along. Stuff like that happens. So we said 3 times what? 3 times 2 or 3 times 5? We said 3 times 5, give me 15. 2, we need more positives than negatives. So I'm going to give the 5 my positive to become positive 15 and the 2 a negative. You can practice that, figure out which numbers would go where. All right, we're pretty close now. 3x plus minus 2 is equal to 0, and x plus 5 is equal to 0. The one on the right is super easy. We'll cancel out a positive 5, a negative 5. And I'm going to do opposite operation. 3x plus 2, let's go ahead and do some opposite operations. Opposite multiply by 2 is by 3. Multiply by 3 is divide by 3. X is equal to 2 over 3. Now, these answers are our solutions, and they don't look like it. Negative 5 doesn't look like it. For the fraction 2/3 for sure doesn't look like it. But I'm just going to check the 5 for you. Negative 5 squared, just to double check hey, I want to prove to you that this works. That we're not just making up random numbers and they say, oh, those are solutions. I sound like a politician. 5 is 25. 25 times 3 is 75. Okay. 13 times 5. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 3 is 15. 50 plus 15 is 65, negative 65. And minus 10. 75 minus 65 is 10. 10 minus 10 is, oh my goodness, we did it. We found the zeros. Okay. So right now, while we're in class, I want you guys to right now log into Schoology, look up homework number 28, and start doing 28 right now while we are in class. Okay, I'm going to ask some of you guys to go to a breakout room with me in just a little bit.
Mr. Co.
Yes, go ahead.
So on question 3 on the homework 28,
Yes.
I think it's kind of broken because for example, the commas are like really far away from everything.
Let me take a look. Oh, don't worry about it.
And
The
on one of
commas
the
is
panels,
the reason why it's I was trying to keep everything in a column, like left side, right side. So
okay.
they're still kind of lined up that way. That's why.
And on one of the panels, it's just the solutions right next to each other.
Did we on question number 3?
Yeah.
So like the one that says -1, -1, and +4,
Yeah.
+4. Oh, that one is the opposite operation step.
Oh, okay,
See,
okay.
that's my opposite operation step, like right there. That's what I was trying to like do. Okay. So that step question number 3 looks like what I'm doing like up here. Like this. It looks almost exactly like that. Okay, it looks like this. That's question number 3. So what are the first steps when I solve it? Okay. First one, I just copy it down. Second one is make them both go to 0, then opposite operation, and then the final solution. Okay. Okay, so right now, please log into Schoology and work on homework number 28. I have a couple of you guys I need to ask to go to a breakout room with me today. Okay, if you get a request to go to the breakout room, please join me. If not, please stay here and you guys will be working on the homework number 28. And once you guys are done, you guys are free to go. You're going to submit the last question on homework number 28. The last question, there's a option to upload a file. So you can take a picture and then upload that work, okay, of your work that you do on your notebook. Okay, and that's like the last question. Yeah, only the last question. Last question has like 8 questions to it. It's just you just practicing it there. And so once you're done with those last questions, you can take a picture and upload that. Okay, good question though. Thanks for asking the clarifying question. So if you look at the last question on homework number 28, that's the one where I gave you 8 questions just to practice, level 1 and level 2 questions. And then you're gonna take a picture and then upload that. Make sure you are doing it my way, okay? Remember, I'm writing down all the possibilities. Okay, if you get a request to join the breakout room, please join me, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. If not, you guys are staying here and you guys are going to finish it. If you can finish homework number 28 in this class period, which I think you can, you guys are good to go for this whole weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday with more work, more fun stuff to do. Yay. Okay, let's see. Can I get Sarah and Aranza? If you guys can hear me, go ahead and join the breakout room. Thank you.